The cast of Step by Step faced unexpected twists and turns when tragic accidents reshaped their lives. Once shining bright in the limelight, their paths spiraled into battles with adversity and personal challenges. How did they overcome these obstacles, and where have their journeys led them in 2025? Join us as we unravel the inspiring transformations, untold struggles, and surprising comebacks of the stars you once admired. Patrick Duffy, who portrayed Frank Lambert on Step by Step, was 42 when he stepped into the role of the kind-hearted and practical contractor. Frank was the type of man who found joy in raising a large, blended family while managing his career in construction. Duffy's portrayal of Frank made him beloved by audiences for his down-to-earth charm and unwavering love for his family. In his personal life, Duffy's journey was far from easy. He was married to Carlin Rosser, a professional dancer, and the two had a solid relationship, though often tested by Duffy's long hours on set. They had 2 children, a son and a daughter. Sadly, tragedy struck in 2017 when his beloved wife, Carlin, passed away from cancer, leaving Duffy heartbroken. This loss marked a major turning point in his life, and he became more reclusive, stepping back from acting for a while to focus on family and personal healing. Though he maintained close relationships with his children, he struggled with the isolation that came with his grief. Duffy is now 76, with an estimated estate valued at $10 million. He continues to live in quiet reflection on his past, often staying in a modest house in the Pacific Northwest, away from the public eye. Suzanne Somers, who played Carol Foster Lambert on Step by Step, was 45 when she brought to life the role of a warm and humorous beautician and mother. Carol's character was the epitome of positivity, offering love and guidance to her children while balancing her professional aspirations. Somers' portrayal resonated deeply with viewers, as she skillfully combined comedy and vulnerability. In real life, however, Somers faced her own series of heartbreaking personal struggles. She had been married to Alan Hamill, a Canadian television host, for over 40 years, and they had 1 child, a son named Bruce. Despite the long-lasting marriage, Somers struggled with loneliness, especially after becoming distant from her TV co-stars and feeling like an outsider in the industry. Professionally, Somers achieved major success with her entrepreneurial ventures, including a line of health and wellness products, but her personal life was marked by battles with health issues. In 2023, at the age of 76, she passed away after a long battle with breast cancer, which had been diagnosed years earlier. Her estate was estimated at $100 million, much of which was derived from her business ventures. She will be remembered not only for her acting but also for her fierce dedication to her health and her contributions to wellness. Stacey Kiernan, at just 16, became Dana Foster, the witty and ambitious teenager on Step by Step. Dana's character was known for her intelligence, ambition, and occasional sass, a role that Kiernan embraced with her sharp humor and strong on-screen presence. Now 49, Kiernan has long moved on from acting, finding success as a respected attorney and law professor. Her journey, however, has not been without its personal trials. Kiernan had a difficult time adjusting to life after Step by Step, feeling disconnected from Hollywood and struggling to establish her identity outside the spotlight. Her first marriage, to fellow actor Michael J. Tabb, ended in a bitter divorce, complicated by their public separation and Kiernan's deep sense of betrayal. She had 1 child, a daughter named Savannah, but the pressures of balancing work and motherhood left her feeling isolated. Kiernan later remarried to a fellow attorney, and her second marriage has been more stable. While she found success in her new career, she frequently struggles with feelings of inadequacy and the loss of the fame she once enjoyed. Now in her late 40s, she remains devoted to her daughter and is focused on furthering her legal career. Her estimated estate is valued at around $3 million, much of which has been invested in real estate and her law practice. Brandon Call, who portrayed J.T. Lambert in Step by Step, was only 15 when he took on the role of the cool, slightly dim-witted but lovable teenage son. His charm and boyish grin made him a favorite among fans, yet behind the scenes, life wasn't as sunny. After a promising start, his acting career came to a sudden halt in the late 1990s following a traumatic incident in 1996 when he was shot in a road rage incident. Though he survived, the event deeply affected his trust in Hollywood and led to his quiet retirement. He married his high school sweetheart, Dana Lou Hartley, in 2003, but the couple divorced in 2015 after years of growing apart. They had 2 children, Jacob and Riley. Estranged from his extended family and struggling with recurring bouts of depression, Call became reclusive, avoiding media and public appearances entirely. Once living comfortably off residuals, his financial situation declined due to poor investments and long periods of unemployment. As of 2025, Brandon Call is 48 years old, living in relative obscurity in San Diego, working at a small boat repair shop near the marina. His estimated estate is around $300,000, and he remains mostly alone, disconnected from his former co-stars and the fame he once enjoyed. Angela Watson, who took on the role of Karen Foster at age 15, brought life to the image-conscious, beauty-obsessed teenage girl whose dream was to be a fashion model. Now 48, Watson's real life has been far from glamorous. During her time on the show, she was subjected to financial and emotional manipulation by her own parents, who mismanaged her earnings and left her nearly broke by the time the series ended. Her legal battle to reclaim her finances made national headlines, but left her emotionally scarred. Watson married motivational speaker Jared Klein in 2001, but the marriage was short-lived and childless. Her second marriage, to actor Thomas Greer, brought her 1 daughter, Lila, but ended in a messy divorce in 2016 amid allegations of emotional abuse. She remains estranged from her parents and has been open about battling anxiety and PTSD. Though she advocates for child actors' rights through her nonprofit Cast, Child Actors Supporting Themselves, she lives modestly in a small condo in Santa Monica. Her estimated estate stands at $500,000. Angela spends her days writing and occasionally coaching young performers, haunted by the betrayal of those she trusted most. Christine Lakin, who captured hearts as the tomboyish and spunky Al Lambert at just 12 years old, exuded confidence and quick wit on screen. Now 44, Lakin's post-show life has been a roller coaster of triumphs and heartaches. Though she continued working in Hollywood as a voice actress and director, she never quite escaped the shadow of her early fame. Her marriage to composer Nick Robinson in 2011 was thought to be solid, but years of balancing 2 demanding careers took its toll. They separated in 2021, sharing joint custody of their 2 children, Mila and Archer. Behind her bright public image lies a story of struggle with infertility, postpartum depression, and a devastating miscarriage in 2015 that nearly ended her marriage. Christine lost her father in 2018 and her younger brother to addiction in 2020, both of which deeply impacted her mental health. Despite the darkness, she remains a resilient figure in the industry, advocating for mental health support and women in film. Lakin lives in Burbank, where she continues to direct indie projects and teach acting. Her estimated estate is valued at $1.2 million. Though her smile remains intact, it hides a quiet battle she fights daily. Christopher Castile, who joined Step by Step at age 11 as Mark Foster, the studious, socially awkward youngest child of Carol Foster, was praised for his wholesome presence and dry wit. Now 43, Castile left acting entirely by his early 20s, disillusioned by Hollywood's superficiality and burnout from early fame. He earned a PhD and became a political science professor, but his life off-screen was marred by isolation. Castile married fellow academic Lauren Rigsby, and they had 1 daughter, Abigail, though the couple divorced after 10 years due to his emotional withdrawal and recurring bouts of depression. He became estranged from his daughter after her teen years, an ongoing source of quiet anguish. A tragic car accident in 2012 left him with chronic pain, further exacerbating his reclusive tendencies. In 2018, he briefly returned to the public eye advocating for mental health awareness but soon withdrew again. Though he lives modestly in a small home in Pasadena, his estate is estimated at $400,000. Despite his retreat from fame, he is still occasionally recognized and remembered fondly by fans for the gentle intelligence he brought to Mark Foster. Josh Byrne, at just 6 years old, portrayed Brendan Lambert, the sweet and often overlooked youngest of the Lambert kids. His innocence and understated charm made him a quiet favorite, though his screen time dwindled toward the series' end. Now 38, Byrne has retreated completely from the public eye, and little is known about his current whereabouts. After being dropped from the show without explanation in the final season, Byrne's family struggled financially. His post-acting years were marked by a turbulent adolescence, expelled from high school twice and later grappling with addiction. A brief marriage in his 20s to waitress Melissa Green ended in tragedy after the death of their infant daughter, Lila, from SIDS. The grief tore the couple apart, and Byrne spent several years drifting across states, taking on odd jobs under aliases. Sources suggest he currently lives in a small town in Oregon under a changed name, reportedly sober and working as a handyman. He has no known children and never remarried. Byrne's estate is modest, estimated at just under $75,000, consisting mostly of residuals and a trust from his early earnings. The quiet tragedy of his life mirrors the forgotten fate of his once beloved character. Sasha Mitchell joined Step by Step at age 24 as Cody Lambert, the lovable, eccentric surfer dude cousin living in a van in the family's driveway. His comedic timing and heartwarming loyalty made him a fan favorite, but behind the charm was a turbulent real life. Now 57, Mitchell still acts occasionally and appears at conventions, but his personal life has been riddled with chaos. He married dancer Jeanette Reynolds in 1994, with whom he had 4 children, Tyler, Brooke, Eli, and Jasmine. However, the marriage dissolved dramatically amid allegations of domestic violence, leading to a lengthy custody battle. Mitchell was convicted of spousal abuse in the late 1990s and spent several months in jail, though he has since maintained that he was misrepresented in the media. After the scandal, his career plummeted. He struggled with substance abuse for years, leading to rehab stints and several failed comeback attempts. Financial troubles forced him to file for bankruptcy in 2009. Despite these setbacks, Mitchell remains close to his children, all of whom he now credits with saving his life. He currently lives in a modest rental home in Riverside, California. His estate is estimated at $150,000, largely from convention appearances and sporadic acting gigs. Jason Marsden, at age 20, played Rich Hawk, the loyal best friend of JT and a funny, carefree presence on Step by Step. With his boyish charm and comedic timing, Marsden quickly became a fan favorite. Now 50, his life has taken complex turns. After the show, he struggled to transition into adult roles, often typecast or overlooked. He found moderate success in voice acting, lending his voice to beloved animated characters, but behind the scenes, he battled depression and feelings of inadequacy. Jason married fellow voice actress Christy McBride in 2001, but their marriage ended in 2014 after years of emotional distance. They had one son, Aiden, now 18, who lives with his mother. Jason became estranged from his family after a public feud over inheritance matters following his father's death. Among his life's tragedies was the suicide of his younger brother in 2006, a devastating blow that deepened his mental health struggles. He also survived a near-fatal car crash in 2011 and a brief stint in rehab in 2017 for alcohol dependency. Though he continues working in animation and small indie projects, Marsden leads a reclusive life in a modest home in Nevada. His estimated estate is around $600,000, mostly tied up in voiceover royalties and a small investment in an animation startup. Emily Mae Young joined Step by Step at the tender age of 6, portraying Lily Foster Lambert, the adorable youngest child with wide-eyed innocence and a mischievous streak. Her natural charisma lit up the screen, but her life off-camera was far less joyful. Now 35, Emily has left Hollywood behind, having retired from acting after the show's end. Typecast and unable to break into serious roles as a teen, she faced early rejection from the industry. Her parents, hoping to cash in on her fame, controlled her finances and pushed her into a series of failed auditions and public appearances. Emily was briefly married in her 20s to a struggling musician, but the relationship was marred by substance abuse and infidelity, ending in a bitter divorce. They had no children. She later admitted to suffering from an eating disorder and anxiety, both stemming from early fame and pressure to stay camera ready. After a mental breakdown in 2012, she disappeared from the spotlight entirely. She now lives quietly in rural Oregon under a different name, working part-time at a bookstore and avoiding social media. Her estimated estate is just $75,000, mostly in trust from her childhood earnings, which she fought to recover after years of mismanagement by her parents. Bronson Pinchot, at age 37, portrayed Jean-Luc Rieux-Perrix, the flamboyant French hairdresser who brought high energy and quirky humor to Step by Step. Now 65, his eccentric on-screen persona mirrored his real-life uniqueness, but his journey has been riddled with sorrow. After the show, Pinchot attempted a serious film career, but he was often pigeonholed by his past comedic roles. Financial troubles plagued him. He declared bankruptcy in 2012 after investing heavily in restoring old houses in Pennsylvania. His dream project turned nightmare. Bronson was briefly engaged in the late 90s to costume designer Lydia Vance, but the engagement was called off amid rumors of infidelity and emotional volatility. He never married and has no children. His relationship with his estranged brother ended tragically when his brother died of a drug overdose in 2008, a trauma Bronson rarely discusses. He also lost his longtime manager to suicide in 2016 and suffered from a heart scare in 2019. Though still acting in theater and occasional indie films, he lives modestly and alone in a small restored farmhouse. Bronson's estate is estimated at $250,000, reflecting years of financial instability, though he is remembered fondly for his unforgettable characters and the joy he brought to screens. Patrika Darbo joined Step by Step at age 43, portraying Penny Baker, Carol Foster's vivacious, witty sister whose love for romance and mischief brought laughter into the Lambert household. Now 76, Darbo continues to appear in TV roles, though her post-Step by Step career was marred by typecasting and declining health. She married character actor Bill Thompson in 1972, and they had one daughter, Elaine, who tragically died in a car accident in 1995. Their grief strained the marriage, leading to a quiet divorce in 1999. Darbo endured a series of personal tragedies. Her sister died from cancer, her mother slipped into dementia, and she suffered a stroke in 2011. Despite these hardships, she fought to remain active in the industry, taking voice-over roles and making convention appearances. Now semi-retired and living alone in a modest Los Angeles condo, she devotes time to animal rescue and stroke survivor outreach. Her estate is estimated at $650,000, much of it tied up in health expenses and legal battles over residuals. Though resilient, Darbo lives quietly, occasionally appearing in fan tributes but avoiding the spotlight that once embraced her. Alexandra Oddie, at 26, played Samantha Milano, JT's bold, tomboyish girlfriend with a rebellious streak and sharp wit. Her chemistry with Brandon Call made the character a fan favorite, but fame came at a steep cost. Now 52, Oddie's acting career faded quickly after the series, with failed pilots and a stint in rehab for alcohol dependency. She married indie film director Sean Lowell in 2001, and they had twin boys, Max and Ryder, but their volatile marriage collapsed in 2010 following a public domestic dispute. The custody battle was messy and widely publicized, resulting in shared custody but years of emotional strain. Oddie was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2014, which she later revealed in a candid interview about mental health in Hollywood. She now teaches acting workshops and occasionally writes screenplays, though none have been produced. She resides in Asheville, North Carolina, near her aging parents, and leads a reclusive but introspective life. Her estate is estimated at $400,000. Kit Meering, only 1 year old when she began playing baby Lily Lambert, grew up with America watching her character go from crib to kindergartner in the show's final seasons. Though she was too young to remember filming, fame followed her into adolescence. Now 29, Meering has abandoned the spotlight entirely, living a secluded life in a small Oregon town under a different name. Her parents managed her earnings poorly, leading to legal disputes and a public court case when she turned 18. She later revealed she was estranged from her father, who had pressured her into auditions long after Step by Step ended. Meering enrolled in college briefly but dropped out after suffering a mental health breakdown. She has battled depression, anxiety, and 2 hospitalizations for self-harm. Though she occasionally shares poems and abstract art online, she avoids interviews and fan attention. She remains unmarried with no children, living alone with her rescued dog, Theo. Her estate is modest, estimated at $150,000, primarily from early trust fund savings. Who is your favorite character from the Step by Step? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.